Hi, Miles. We don't have an actual lecture today. I was just going to talk to you. I talked about the project last week. This will basically be a kind of a Q&A, and we will talk about the applications overview, and then I'll mention the final, talk about the logistics of the final. But other than that, we don't have any new physical science material to cover. So um, just give it a few more and we'll get started. All right, everybody, it's 5:30 and I'll go ahead and get started. Um, I don't have any new material to lecture on today, but I will cover some items to help us kind of wrap up things, if you will. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay. So here we are at the course homepage. Somebody let me know you're seeing this. Just give me the thumbs up, if you will. Thank you. All right. So I'll post this recording in the announcements. So once I get it all captioned. So now I'm going to go into the weekly overviews. And you can see that we have pretty much wrapped up this course. So you have the project, which is due this Saturday. I covered all of the information on the project last week. There are 2 videos out there that deal with the project. One of them says project video in the announcements, and the other is from last Wednesday's class on the 7th. So if you watch either of those, you should have um, information to help you understand the actual summary as well as the scoring. So the other thing on your plate is this applications overview. This is not something I lecture on. You work through this on your own because it basically wants you to make connections between the material that we've covered and the field of study or your career interest. In other words, what prompted you to take courses at Nunez? What are you majoring in? What do you hope to do? And I want you to take some time to reflect on that and explain how that relates to this class. So under activities that you have due this Saturday, along with your project, is problem set 13 and 14. Problem set 13 deals with astronomy. Problem set 14 is where you'll delve into the relationship between this course and your career or educational goals. To help you with that, I did put out a link to a website that talks about physical science and 2-year degree programs. You know, how are they related? So that's just a reference for you. But again, you are more than welcome to use any other reference materials that you find adequate to help you deal with problem set number 14. And so you notice that there are no like lecture notes. I'm not going to lecture on any more physical science. We finished that last week. The only other item that you have on your plate besides the project and the applications overview is the final exam. If you click on that final exam overview, you see that your final exam is due on Thursday. The final exam works exactly like the midterm did. So under the logistics, it tells you that it's due next Thursday. We do not have to meet at all next week. Next week is strictly you completing the final exam. In fact, we don't have to meet this Wednesday either. So today is technically our last, you know, face-to-face video session, if you will, virtual video session. So we don't have class on Wednesday and we don't have class any next week. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not available. It just means if you have any questions regarding anything that's on your plate for this week and anything that's on your plate for next week, you'll have to email me and set up an appointment time or ask your question via email and I'll respond to you. Okay. So I kind of jumped off topic a bit. I apologize, but I wanted to make that clear. So your final exam is due next Thursday. You have 2 hours to complete the final exam. Type your work in the exam space provided. You must show your work to receive credit. If you don't show your work, you will not get any credit even if your answer is correct. Follow all instructions included with each problem. The final exam is worth 100 points, and the point values are indicated with each question. Okay, so when you finish the exam next Thursday, that'll give me a couple of days to get your exam scored, and then I'll post your score out on Canvas. If you miss the exam due date, you must have documentation to verify your absence or need for a makeup. And that can be a doctor's excuse, an obituary, a judge's order, something official that can be verified. Okay. Any questions on the final exam logistics? Okay, so I'll go back into the final exam overview. You have an opportunity to earn some bonus points as well as to get some additional practice in. So this is your final exam study guide. Notice that this study guide deals with all of the topics that we covered after midterm. So it picks up with Newton's laws and then goes forward into all of the topics that we dealt with after midterm. Okay. And so your assignment on this study guide is to use any source of your choice. Any source, can be books, can be internet sites, can be any other credible source. And you are to find 10 concepts and solve 10 sample problems related to the topics listed above. Okay. Um, don't make all 10 of your items, all 20 of your items on the same topic. So you should have 20 items, 10 concept facts, and 10 problems spread out over these topics. Okay. Please don't use any example listed in my lecture notes or my extra notes. You should go out and find your own sources, because this is an opportunity for you to build a study guide so that you get some additional exposure to this material and you practice solving problems related to this material. This study guide is due by the deadline posted for the final exam, which is Thursday the 22nd at 11:59 p.m. You email it to me, just like you did for the midterm study guide. It's worth 10 bonus points toward the final exam. So um, when you turn this final exam in, as I mentioned, a couple of days later, you'll get a score out on Canvas, because I have to get final grades turned in by the deadline that the college gives me. Any questions on the final exam study guide? All right. Um, you have one final discussion to complete for me. So this is like a survey. Okay, so there are no right or wrong answers to this. All I ask is that you answer these 5 questions in an email to me by next Thursday, 11:59 p.m. Please do not post your answers. Typically for discussions, you hit the reply button and post your answer and reply to your classmates. At least that's what you should have been doing. But this discussion is strictly between you and me. So you send your answers to these 5 questions in an email to me by the deadline. Do not post your answers. Do not share your answers with anyone else but me. Are there any questions on the final discussion? Okay, so I'm just gonna go into the quizzes. You can't get into that button, but I'm doing it so that I can bring up the final exam. It won't actually open until the 15th. If you try to open it now, it's gonna tell you that it's closed. It'll open on the 15th and it'll close on the 22nd at 11:59 p.m. Okay. And if you go into it, when you're able to go into it, there are instructions provided for you. Okay. So the instructions tell you, let's see. Yeah. The final exam, well, I shouldn't say accompanying work, because you're not going to email anything to me. You're going to type your answers in the space provided on the exam. Okay. You can use printed materials to help you while you're taking the exam. You can have a textbook, you can have formula sheets, you can use a calculator, you can like print out solutions. any printed material that you want to use, you can have it available for the exam. Okay. So if you want to print out my notes, my extra notes, the solutions to the problem sets and discussions, you have access to any of that material, but it has to be printed because you can't use a phone, a tablet, or any websites. Okay. Again, if you want to make up, you have to have proper documentation as discussed in the syllabus that I talked about in the exam logistics. Okay. Be sure to solve the problems, type your work in the exam space. You must show your work to receive credit. No credit will be given for correct or incorrect answers if work is not shown. And make sure you follow all instructions included with each problem. And the final exam is worth 100 points. The point values are indicated with each question. Okay, so those are your instructions. Any question about that? All right, so that is honestly what I have to share with you today. I wanted to make sure you know that you have to work through the applications overview by Saturday. Your project is due this Saturday. Again, there are videos available in the announcements that discuss the project. And your final exam is due by next Thursday. We do not have to meet on Wednesday, and we do not have any classes next week. If you need me for anything regarding any of these items, send me an email. And if I can help you in email, I will respond to it. If I can't, if there's not an easy answer to your question, then we can arrange for a one-on-one video session where we can discuss what your question is, and I can give you, you know, directions or, try to resolve your concern. All right. So with that, I'll say it has been a pleasure working with you this summer. I wish you the best on all your remaining assignments, and I hope to see you in some future classes that I might have the opportunity to teach at Nunez. So everybody take care, and I want to say a special thanks to my interpreters. Y'all have been very helpful, and y'all work really well as a team, so I appreciate your support.
You're welcome.
All
And
right.
thank you for having us as part of your team
Uh,
for this.
no worries. I'm sure the students of Nunez really appreciate the work that y'all do. So y'all take care as well. All right, I'm gonna stop the share, and that concludes the course. Everybody have a good rest of your summer.
Thanks.
Bye now.
Thank you.